Fuck yeah, that song pumps you up. If you didn't know, it's the final countdown. And that's right, we're in the final countdown. Week 1 of the playoffs is over, and we are headed to the semifinal rounds of both the winner's bracket, I guess you can call it, and the loser's bracket. So let's jump right into a little quick recap of last week. In the winner's bracket, poor showing from Bo. 42 points. And guess what? 34 of them came from AJ Green. He has 8 other players playing. They scored combined 8 points. You do the math. Terrible. Rich Perry easily beat that ass, but just to make it more convincing, he scored the most out of anybody in the week, including the hers. Other matchup saw Little Bobby put up a valiant effort against Stardust. But in the end, Jordy Nelson was not enough to catch up. Running backs were his demise for sure. Bishop Sankey, 2 points. Joe Banyard? Lanyard? It's like lanyard, but with a B. Banyard. 1 point. Everybody else did pretty good. I mean, he still scored 108 points, but DeMarco Murray, Cam Newton, CJ Anderson on fire. Put on a show for Stardust, and he proved why he was the points leader for the year. So, some interesting storylines coming off of those games into this week's matchups. But let's go ahead and break down the loser's bracket first. Loser's bracket brought to you by Mason jars filled with water. Delicious. Ooh. I think my friend wants some here too. Hold on. Ooh. Ooh. Ah. Daniel, come pick him up. I got your metal Starbucks cup too. You'll be the man of the year. Bring home ugly face over here, and then you hit her with the Starbucks cup. She'll be like, "Oh my god, you're best boyfriend ever." All right, losers bracket saw Gila Monster Cuck lose to, I'm just gonna call them the Monkeys now because I don't know what Rance is doing, changing his name. Shit-faced crack smoking monkey, yeah, it's hilarious. Saw Toothless make a strategic decision to not play a defense before the game. He told me about it, so that's how I know he did it on purpose. Against Uncle fucking Mike. And still ended up losing. Sadly enough, even worse than not playing the D, which would have got him 4 more points. He ended up losing by 6. He also was pretty adamant about playing Steven Jackson in his flex spot. And I was like, dude, who plays Steven Jackson? He's garbage. So I went with Ryan Matthews instead. Ryan Matthews got 4. Steven Jackson got 13. Would have won. Too bad, so sad. But now, Uncle fucking Mike, a little banged up going into this week. That's okay. The other matchups were Para los Niños, for the kids, you know, cheese post. He took on the hapless Goldust, who admitted to me midweek that he was going to have to get a smartphone before he decides to play fantasy football again. Yeah, that's right. 2014, Mark Caveman Coronado still doesn't have a smartphone. What the fuck? But that's just the way he rolls, man. That's Mark Caveman Coronado. Recent descendant of the Neanderthal. And the last matchup, Midget Widgets put a beat down on Drew. Sad week for Drew. He lost the Losers Bowl, I guess you could call it, in another league. He lost in Mike's league out of the playoffs. And he lost in this Losers bracket. Terrible. Another sad thing to point out about Drew, all the other matchups saw the lower seeded or the better team win. For instance, Green Mountain Boys ranked number 4, beat number 5, Bo. Number 3, Stardust beat number 6, Treasure Man. Well, you get the idea. 7, Shit-Faced Monkeys beat 14, Gila Monster Cock. 9, Uncle Mike beat 12, Toothless. 8, Parlos Ninos beat 13, Goldust. But number 10, Drew, lost to number 11, Midget Widgets. Sad. Very sad. I know Drew's looking forward to baseball. A lot of people looking forward to baseball. But guess what? Football season, it's still here. We still got a couple matchups. Before I get into the matchups of this week, I'd like to address a little issue that was brought up due to a trade, a legal trade, a fair trade, in my opinion. But the main thing is, trades don't have to be fair in anybody's opinion. The person who's making the trade is making it for one reason. The person who's accepting it isn't accepting it for another reason. As long as they have reasons, and that reason isn't, oh, he gave me $100, so I traded him this guy. You can almost make a case for any trade, okay? We've seen that, when the league gets in a huff over Golden Tate for a Calvin Johnson trade. Well, ask Rich Perry. I don't think he'd be here without Golden Tate, where he is in the semifinals. So, yeah, Ganong gets a nice wide receiver keeper in the very late rounds. Stardust gets a quarterback to replace his guy, who evidently doesn't know how to drive. And that's it. It's a win-win for both parties. So, anybody who wants to cry, guess what? You can all trade. Every single one of you. So, make some trades if you're sad about it. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it. Okay? Had to do a little rearranging to the losers brackets because the way ESPN sets it up, it doesn't format correctly. So, I made this diagram. I hope you can see it. Hope it's not backwards like it looks to me. 7 played 14. In their same bracket was 10 and 11. 8 played 13, and in that bracket was 9 and 12. Okay, if you look up any standard bracket, this is how they are, but just replace 7 with 1, 14 with 8. Okay, that's how it lines up. So now the 7 seed Monkeys takes on the 11 seed Midget. The 8 seed PLN, Parlos Ninos, takes on the 9 seed Uncle fucking Mutt. The other people in the losers bracket, whatever, you have games too. You can put a lunch bet on it, I guess. Yeah, other than that, winner's bracket is going to be me versus Rich Perry. And it's, according to ESPN, it's going to be very one-sided, my-sided. And in the other side, Stardust versus Glue Sniffers. Not as one-sided, but projections still have Stardust winning by 19. Glue Sniffer's going to be in trouble if he ends up having to start both Bengals running backs. Nobody wants to do that, especially in the playoffs. So, there you go. That's it. Short video this week. Playoffs take up a lot of time, okay? I'm worried about my team, okay? I'm not worried about making a video. I'm worried about my team. So worry about your own. Don't worry about someone else's. They made a trade. Boo-hoo. You should have done it first, okay? And if you're looking to make a trade, holla at your boy. Other than that, I mean, everybody wants to make trades, so, ask around before you settle, Nobody likes to settle. You're just going to regret it later on when you're laying in bed and you look over and it's a 5 instead of a 9. Or even an 8. But that's what happens when you settle. So, if you're going to trade, ask around. Make sure you're getting the best deal possible. If you're not going to trade, then keep your mouth shut when other people do, because it don't matter to you. Okay? Alright, bitches. Peace.